Well, we are on our final full day
Yeah.
um, here at the cabin, and we have enjoyed our trip immensely,
Yes.
and
Much needed trip.
much needed trip, and well worth the cost,
Hmm.
and ready to dive back in and you know see how. What was that? Benjamin
Benjamin
said,
said, our
"Hello,
grandbaby.
2023. How can I help you? What can I do
Exactly.
for you?" Or something.
And this is a 9-year-old.
Yeah, right. He's got the
My
wisdom
grandbaby.
to understand. Yeah.
Hmm.
Hello, 2023. What can I do for you?
Exactly. How
Yeah.
can I help you?
Yeah. What do you expect of me?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a nice day. Heat pumps are on, heat
Yeah.
tanks, and
Yeah.
had to change clothes. We thought we were coming out here in
Yeah.
shorts because I mean it's pleasant. It's
Hmm.
in the 60s, but
It's like 64, but it doesn't feel like
yeah,
64 out here. It feels more
it
cooler. I
feels
would
cool.
say maybe 54,
Hmm.
maybe.
Yeah.
But it's pretty though and pleasant,
Hmm.
but it's a lot. It feels a lot cooler than 64.
Yeah. Babe, let me ask you a question. What are at least two elements to being a good wife that you have implemented in our marriage?
Being a good listener, patient and understanding,
Mhm.
um, allowing your husband to be a husband and
Mhm.
not taking over, knowing your place in the marriage and knowing um, and being comfortable with your role and knowing who you are
Mhm.
and being comfortable in the marriage.
Yeah,
Um,
I would imagine um, that is difficult for a lot of women, for particularly in our culture where women have had to be so strong for so long,
mm-hmm,
uh, as well as the different types of upbringing.
mm-hmm,
It may be hard to even digest the concept of know your role or know your place,
mm-hmm,
because it becomes almost a trigger for a lot
mm-hmm,
of people.
mm-hmm,
Because I know how you meant it, but
mm-hmm,
just to hear that,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
um, some people have a real problem with that
mm-hmm,
because they have been in the driver's seat for so long.
mm-hmm.
Relinquishing that perceived power or control is hard.
Right.
You know, a lot of women, they love the Lord, they love the Bible, they love the Word, but they won't hesitate to rip out certain pages that they don't like. I
Mm-hmm,
don't want to talk about submission.
mm-hmm,
Submit to each other. It's not what it said, though.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Or just different things like that.
mm-hmm,
So you said being a good listener,
mm-hmm.
being patient
Being
and
understanding,
understanding, and allowing your husband to be the husband
be the men.
full, to fill up his role
Mm-hmm.
and remove yourself from that role so he can occupy it
Right.
all the way.
Right.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I know that second one, being patient and understanding. I
Mm-hmm.
know that probably comes in handy for you real well because, as I'm often reminded, I am a complex individual.
You are.
Whatever. I don't give you a hard time, but I'm
No, but you
I'm
have
intricate in
right,
my makeup.
right, right. You have layers of
Complexity
yes,
that you've had to learn and study and master.
right,
Being patient, understanding, being a good listener, and allowing the man that you have married to fully assume the role of husband.
right.
Yeah.
And to do that, you have to understand what a husband means
Right.
and what a wife means.
Yeah. And that can often be a challenge for a lot of people
Right.
because they may not have always had good examples of that.
Hmm.
You know, he may not know what a good husband is.
Right.
You know, she may not know how to be a good wife.
Hmm.
She may think she's doing an awesome job and failing miserably. We don't know. You know,
Right.
she doesn't really know unless, but the key to that though is being teachable
Hmm.
and being able to hear from people, because if you're not able to, you know, receive instruction or criticism, then you can't change.
That's true. There's, so many. I would say surround yourself with women that you admire, that are married, that have what you would consider a good marriage, or things that you would like
Yeah.
to see in your marriage. Sometimes you have to get wisdom from them and glean from other marriages, and but in that, don't lose your personality. So get wisdom and glean from other marriages and other couples that you feel that are going the way that you would want your marriage to go, but don't become them. Use it as a way of adding to your marriage, but
Kind of like a
don't
blueprint to make your own,
right
not
to
to
make
copy.
it right. So always stay focused on your marriage, not someone else's marriage.
Right.
Just glean from their marriage and get the wisdom, get the nuggets to add to what you already have created. So let's ask the question to you. What do you think makes a good husband?
Before I answer it, let me say that it is entirely possible for this answer to change over time.
Right.
Right. Because early on there are things you may not know or have experienced yet that you personally conclude
Right.
that this is what I need to add to my toolbox to be
Right.
a good husband. Things I didn't know before, I know now. And so
Right.
now this is what's necessary
Right.
for this woman. To be a good husband to this woman
Right.
requires that you study that woman and be what she needs. The definition of a man is, as a husband, is that he meets all applicable needs.
It's good.
Whereas a boy, if you're dating a big boy, trying to make him a man, he will be nothing but a burden on you.
That's good, babe. That's good.
Because you'll find yourself feeling like you are dealing with a gigantic child all the time. He doesn't do anything. He's not pulling his weight. He's not contributing in any way, shape, or form that a man would.
Right.
So the answer can be different in the first decade. It can be different in the second decade. It can be different on and on. My personal answer to that question in the beginning of this third decade of our marriage,
Wow.
to you, is that I know that it's very important to be consistent. To be consistent, to be dependable, and to be understanding.
Right.
And some of those are learned skills,
Mm-hmm.
and others are or can be behaviors.
Right. Mm-hmm.
By that I mean, take consistency, for example.
Mm-hmm.
When I wake up, I know that you're going to want some coffee,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
right?
Right.
And there is rarely a day that I get up and I don't feel like making coffee, even if I don't want any myself,
Right.
because I know that this is what you desire when you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Desire / require.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me want to get up and get it ready for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say that you can't do it yourself,
Right.
but being consistent,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of how I feel, even if we've had a disagreement, or if I'm not feeling appreciated, or if I'm in a bad mood about something we've talked about, or whatever, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to do what I know that you are trusting me to be consistent doing.
Right. Right.
Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I'm not going to operate out of my emotions
Right. Right.
and say, forget her this morning. I ain't making her no damn coffee.
Right.
Mad at her.
Yeah, and that creates security for me.
Right. I'm going to still take care of business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to still be able to be depended on
Mm-hmm.
to do the right thing. Over the last 30 years of our marriage, during the 30 years of our marriage, we have both had 3 cars.
Mm-hmm.
You've had 3, and I'm on my 3rd one
Mm-hmm.
in 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And not once have you ever had the slightest clue of how much your car note was,
That's right.
because you depended on me to be consistent and dependable and do what's necessary to
Right.
meet the obligation.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that.
You don't have to worry about making sure, double checking with me to ask me if this bill got paid or that bill got paid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You are spoiled, and I wanted you that way. I'm spoiled too.
Mm-hmm.
We have spoiled the hell out of each other
Right.
because we are focused in on constantly learning
Right.
who this person is
Mm-hmm.
and who they're becoming, and not getting stuck on who they were.
Mm-hmm.
We are different people now than we were at 40 and 30 and 20.
Right.
We have different needs.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that just last night, 30 years of marriage, and I found out something in our conversation that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, I assumed,
Mm-hmm.
based on conversations and how I know that you prefer things in other areas,
Mm-hmm.
that there was this one area that it wasn't like that. No, I like it. I don't mind variety in certain areas, and it blew my mind
Mm-hmm.
because I know that you like consistency. You like to know what to expect and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I apply that to everything without sound checking.
Right. Which is
That issue.
so important. Uh-huh.
So that's why I say, it's important to keep learning, to be
Mhm.
humble,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and continue learning your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So being consistent and being dependable are a couple of the things that I feel and believe are necessary to be a good husband to you.
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not interested in being a good husband to anybody else.
Exactly.
If I were someone else's husband, those answers might be different, you know. But for the woman that I am married to, I know that that's what she needs, and it gives me pleasure to give it. You know what I mean? It's never something that I don't feel like doing.